Hi, this is Lisa DeMonte with MyLegal.com. It's Tuesday, December 14th, 2010. And again, we're here in Washington, D.C. at Dixteen Shapiro with our guest, Deborah Epstein Henry, author of the new book, Law and Reorder. We've been speaking with Debbie over the past 30 minutes or so about the reasons for writing the book, some of the major themes within the book, and the trends that are facing the legal industry. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the talent pool. Debbie, what about designing a women and work-life friendly employer? Should that still be a priority in today's competitive marketplace?
Absolutely, and when I think about designing a work-life and women-friendly employer, I should really parse that out, because designing a work-life friendly employer really involves men and women, and the women-friendly piece is something we can address separately. But starting with the work-life piece, what's changed really since I've gotten involved in these issues in the 90s is that the work-life issues have become much more gender neutral and reason neutral. What I mean by reason neutral is that work-life used to be something of focus for mostly stigmatized working moms, and now what's changed is it's both men and women seeking work-life balance for reasons in addition to parenting. And if we ignore the work-life discussion, we're essentially ignoring almost the whole talent pool in the legal profession. If it's not just these working moms who are pushing the work-life agenda, it's also Gen Y who's saying we want to work differently. Both men and women who are dual-centric, meaning that they are focused on work, but they're also focused on other areas and in living an integrated life. But it's also the baby boomers who are looking back at their career and saying, as I phase into retirement, I want to do that differently, maybe working flexible and reduced hours over a period of years. So designing a work-life friendly employer is not about having a good part-time program. It's about making the workplace a more hospitable place for all lawyers to thrive, and recognizing that every lawyer wants an integrated life, and a smart employer is one that focuses on enhancing its lawyer satisfaction so that in turn it will also increase those lawyers' productivity and profitability. In terms of designing a women-friendly employer, that's also equally important in a different way. So women have comprised 40 to 50% of law school graduating classes for about 25 years. Yet women are only about 15% of equity partners at law firms, and their percentage and representation in in-house legal departments, government, academia is comparably low. So what the issue is in designing a women-friendly employer is about seizing the opportunity to use the talent pool in a productive way. If half our talent pool is being underutilized, then as a profession we're suffering. And designing a women-friendly employer is not about preferential treatment. It's about giving women the opportunities to thrive as well as their male counterparts. So it's looking at women not just and supporting them not just in terms of work-life balance, but helping them with business development and networking, helping them with mentoring, helping them with leadership, and positioning them so they can effectively self-promote and help and deal with time management issues so that they can contribute to the profession in the same way that men do.
Debbie, obviously over the last couple of years the economy has had a significant impact globally on the legal profession. Can we somehow see the downturn in the economy as really being a silver lining and perhaps being the catalyst for just a real necessary change in this industry?
Absolutely. I think the silver lining here is that the model of legal practice was already near broken. And what the last 2 years have demonstrated is that the model no longer works. And in some ways, it's taken this extreme economic downturn to really get the attention of many law firm leaders, in-house legal department leaders, and other legal leaders in the profession who now are focused on the fact that we need to look at the structure of the way law is practiced and think of a way to do it better. And in doing that, we can be more mindful about building a more productive and profitable profession, but also a more satisfied group of lawyers, which is equally important. And it really wasn't until the downturn that the focus and the reality of the situation became that apparent. I think the wheels were already in motion long before the economic downturn, but the downturn was the grease in the wheels that really was needed to bring everyone's attention to the need to restructure the profession.
Debbie, I have just thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you this afternoon, and I know that you've been a busy lady sort of zigzagging all across the country on this national book signing tour. Tell us about where you've been and where you're going.
Sure, and thank you so much for that. It's been my pleasure as well. The launch of the book officially was on November 1 at Skadden Arps in New York, where I was interviewed with Lisa Belkin of the New York Times. We had about 200 attendees, and it was a really well-received event and exciting. The next stop on the book tour was in LA. O'Melveny and Myers hosted the LA book tour in Los Angeles, and there an executive vice president from Warner Brothers interviewed me about the book and then facilitated a panel discussion with me and the general counsel of Sony and the managing partner of O'Melveny's LA office. Tonight is the DC launch of my book, and Dixtine Shapiro will be hosting. I'll be interviewed in the book about the book by Claire Shipman, who's an anchor for Good Morning America. Claire will then facilitate a panel discussion with me and Tom Sager, general counsel of DuPont, who's also written the foreword of the book, as well as the chairman of Dixtine, Mike Nannis. And so that's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to more. The next stop on the book tour is in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Bar Association will host on February 1 with Comcast TV's Lynn Doyle, who will interview me and then facilitate a panel discussion with the general counsel of Cigna and the dean of Temple Law School. I've also confirmed stops in Chicago and New Jersey, and I'm in discussions with other events in Miami and Boston and Atlanta and San Diego and San Francisco and Cleveland and Kansas City and various other places. So it should be a fun-filled year and hopefully a real opportunity for all of us to explore the way work is done in the profession.
Very exciting. And so obviously it was not an understatement when I said you were zigzagging all over the country. Debbie, congratulations again on the publication of your new book, Law and Reorder. It's just been a distinct pleasure for us to have you as our guest. Thank you again for joining us. Again, our guest, Deborah Epstein Henry, author of the new book, Law and Reorder.
Thank you so much.